Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear, but the birds are chirping and the weather is beautiful. And I am Colleen Ferrary of Steel Heels, also known as the owner and founder of Small Business USA. I'm so happy to be here today. And this topic is one that is really hard, a really tough lesson for every entrepreneur, every corporate woman I have ever met. And I really want to just blow the lid off of it today. Today we are talking about adversity. So as you know, if you've joined us in the past, Steel Heels is 20 minutes of inspiring, sharing, and really growing so you can step one step closer to having it all. So welcome to Steel Heels, and we're going to talk today about adversity, and I'm so happy to have you join us. So Thomas Edison said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. You know, I spent 23 years in corporate America and promoted a heck of a lot of people, had a really big team, really helped develop and grow people. And I saw it so many times, you know, executives who were so impatient and just wanted to get to that next level, and they were so close. And then someone came in and swooped in and offered them a great opportunity, and they left and started all over when little did they know they were just inches away from being promoted. I see it in business all the time. I really truly believe that's why 85% of all businesses fail, small businesses fail. And it's because business owners, hey, it's hard. It's really, really challenging. And you have to have thick skin. And you have to be able to overcome adversity. You know, Joel Osteen, I believe it was, said, the closer you get to the top, the steeper the climb. And I love that because every time I face an incredibly tough obstacle, I just know, okay, Colleen, you're almost there. You're almost to the top of that mountain. That means that you're closer to that goal than you've ever been. So I'm going to share some of those stories today. But, you know, I want to talk about adversity first because, you know, we talk about having thick skin and we talk about not quitting and just going the extra mile. And if you Google quotes, you know, quitting quotes, it's amazing. You'll see all these incredible athletes and business leaders and world leaders, and they all weigh in on this same important topic. But the truth is, you know, I've been there. I'm going to share a story with Generating Winners that's embarrassing and painful and really, really hard. But it's, you know, it happened and it's real. And you get these moments in life where you can either trudge through and forward or you can quit. And in those moments, you know, we've talked about the why and what is your why and why are you doing this and what makes you take that next step when you're exhausted. And this is one of those stories. So, you know, I'll start by sharing this story because it's one of the most painful stories that I have in my toolkit, in my life. But about 4 years ago, I was pulled over for drunk driving. And the story is horrible. And I was at a political function, and then myself and many very important people in the community all went to a restaurant after to recap the function and talk. And, you know, I left. I was the first one to leave. I actually offered people rides home. I thought I was absolutely capable to drive. And I got in my car and went to turn a corner, and it hit an ice patch and hit a pole. And I backed up away from the pole, embarrassed, thankful that I didn't hurt anyone, and drove away. Well, I guess I didn't realize I had to report that I hit a pole, but the police pulled me over for, you know, obvious reasons. And the truth was I had been drinking. And it doesn't, one of the most eye-opening moments to me is how many times have myself or my friends driven in this condition that we thought we were fine, whether it's 2 drinks or even 1. How many times have we made that decision when we shouldn't have? And so it was a really horrible moment, and it was thrown out of court, but it doesn't matter, because the paper covered it, and it was horrifying, and all my neighbors read about it, and it was it just totally crushed my why, set me back a million steps emotionally. I thank God for that day, because it was also an incredibly life-changing day for me. It was one of those days that made me just look at myself and my life, and I realized that had I not had a couple drinks, I would never have had a problem navigating that ice slick I had hit. So I was so thankful that I didn't hurt anyone. But fast forward a few years. Now I've moved past it. I've said my apologies. The court threw out the case. There was, apparently it doesn't matter if you're intoxicated or not. It matters if you're under the influence. It's enough for that to be called such. But it doesn't matter. I was impaired, and I made a horrible mistake. And I moved past it and started to rise again. And it really made me think about education and helping people. And Generating Winners was born. GeneratingWinners.com is a site for families. And, I had some really heartbreaking challenges. I embarrassed my daughter in front of the neighborhood. I mean, I don't even know if she knows to this day, but in my mind, I did. I embarrassed myself as a businesswoman and professional. And, I came to grips with all that. I'm like, okay, I can move on, but how do you teach your children when you've clearly and very publicly made a horrible mistake as well? So I learned, okay, I can come to grips with this, and I can turn this into a good in my life. And I made some very significant changes because of that incident. And fast forward, I created and pulled together a website for parents of children that would guide them and tackle tough issues like teaching your kids when you weren't the perfect parent, how to, be honest and not a hypocrite, right? Well, the bigger we got in Generating Winners, the more attention we got, and kind of to that Joel Osteen quote, the closer we got to the top, the steeper the climb. And sure enough, somebody did a background check on me and decided to publicly take out a website with my name, and was very upset that I could be creating this great website, which at the time was never about making any money. Our intentions are very philanthropic, and we want to do good with this website, and we contribute back to schools now. And this is a great way for us to give back to the community through Small Business USA and Generating Winners. But, let no good deed go unturned, whatever that cliche is. And someone decided that I had no right to do this, and actually secured the website with my name on it, my married name. And it's horrifying, embarrassing. And I talked to my business partner and the advisors, and had to make a really tough decision, because no more at that moment did I want to quit than ever I had in my entire life. Even though I was doing something so good and so pure of heart, I didn't want to bring and defame this good deed. I did not want to attach my mistake to something that was really spectacular, that some really brilliant business people and doctors and athletes have all worked so hard to create with me. And kudos to my board. But at that day when this woman, we're assuming, this woman decided to invest in my demise, I guess. Um, my team stood behind me and said, this is not the time to quit. This is the time to leverage this as a lesson. And I'm so thankful for them. And I think that's why we as women really need those people in our lives, those friends, those family, those colleagues, those business support, to just say, hey, you are so close to success. Why quit? What you're doing is so much bigger than this incident. Napoleon Hill said, effort only fully releases its reward after a person refuses to quit. And I will tell you, closer than ever on that day, I was so close to quitting. Today, we are creating a newsletter for parents that supports schools all over the United States and raises money for PTOs all over the United States through Generating Winners, so we can put resources into schools that they need, that they don't have, while helping their parents be more organized with a great calendar and have great conversations and better conversations with their children that are changing families. That would never have happened had I quit that day. I wonder, when you think about your own life, if you think about the regrets in your life, chances are you can associate those back to quitting. When you gave up or you were too fearful to go after it. Today, I want to challenge you, no matter what you have in your life. I mean, I'm sure there's things that are more awful than what I just shared, but truthfully, there's nothing more awful in my life than what I just shared. My carelessness, it was horrible. But everyone's got something that is worse and more or less. Maybe I'm the worst person that you've ever met. But the truth is, I know in my heart my intentions are pure and my goals are very altruistic and thoughtful. And yes, do I want to be a successful business coach and lead women and inspire women? I absolutely do. Would I love to make a lot of money along the way? Heck yeah. For me, that's part of my having it all. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is adversity in life that is handed to us, and there is adversity that we create. And what you do at those moments of adversity are really, really critical. You need to surround yourself in those moments with your biggest cheerleaders. One of my girlfriends said, girl, I know you're struggling, and I want you to know every time you walk into that room, every time you go into a sales meeting, every time you face your adversaries, I am there in the balcony cheering you on. And there are moments that I walk into those rooms and people want to attack. I don't know why. I walk into that room and there I see my 3 best friends up in the balcony cheering me on. And they give me the courage and the strength to go on, to fight, to muster through it. My mom and dad were, I've shared this, I'm sure, but my mom and dad were diagnosed with terminal cancer 1 week apart from each other. My dad passed away and my mom is still, fighting her fight, going on the 2nd year. I didn't choose that adversity. Some of that adversity turned into the most beautiful thing, right? Moments that I will cherish and love forever. I think as my dad was passing, he taught us how to turn that adversity into moments of beauty and know that this adversity was leading to something bigger and better. From my mom's adversity, I watched this woman who had MS, who was gifted with a stage 3 esophageal cancer, and Yale didn't want to operate, and she fought because it was a sliver of a chance that she could survive. And today, sadly, she is in a nursing home with very, very limited mobility. She just has small movement from her her ability to move her arms. It's very limited, but she can still send a text. It may take her 3 hours to send that text, but she's still sending a text. They can lift her up and put her into her electric wheelchair, and she can go and visit other people in that nursing home, and she can make them smile, and she hands out candy, and she can participate in lunch conversations, although she can no longer eat or drink anything. There are days that I have said she chose the wrong straw by fighting this. 2 years of pain, and I think she has easily on her 19th life. We've thought we've lost her so many times. So this last stint, just 2 weeks ago, she was in ICU for 3 days, unconscious. Her blood pressure was 35/20. Her heart rate was just as low. No one thought that she was going to survive. We did not think she was coming out of it. And she did. She woke up and she said, okay, now I'm ready to start living. This woman who knows she'll never eat or drink anything. This woman who is bound to a wheelchair with just limited mobility of her hands. This woman who 20% of her memory is gone and her reasoning, and has bouts of delusion, but she has more bouts of reality. And she stepped up and said, I am going to live my life now. Every day she is an inspiration to me. Every day she moves me. Because I don't know many people who could put up such a long, arduous fight and still be so happy to go and add a new flower to her straw hat, to talk to her neighbors and secretly sneak people hard candy, to go around the hospital and check on all the other patients and make them smile. And for her, that's having it all. We all have a different impression of what having it all means. And I just want to challenge you, inspire you to reach deep inside of yourself. And when it gets really hard, when it gets really challenging and you just want to stop, when you walk into your house after a really hard day's work and your boss was a big old pain, your kids have a mess, the babysitter's out of control, and your husband comes home in a really crappy mood, and they're all looking at you to make sure dinner gets on the table, I want you to just first breathe. Then I want you to second, take a minute, just a minute, and look around you and just appreciate where you are and what you have, and that you have those beautiful children, and you have a husband that loves you, and that you both have jobs, whatever it is. Maybe you don't have a job, but maybe you just lost your job. Whatever your adversity is, there's so much other life to celebrate. And when you take a moment and stop and breathe and appreciate, then you can come up with your strategy. And maybe that strategy is for the next moment, for the next 5 minutes, for the next 5 hours. Maybe it's for the next 5 years. But you have to stop, breathe, assess, and then come up with a plan. You make the best of it, and then you celebrate the fact that you made the best of a really crappy, rotten situation. And if that doesn't work, you remember that balcony of your friends that are cheering you on. And if you need to pick up the phone, if you need that lifeline, you call them. And I'm telling you, if you don't have that balcony, just one person in your balcony, a mother, a sister, a brother, a cousin, a next door neighbor, a friend, there's someone out there cheering you on. But if you don't feel that you have that person in your balcony, it's time to add that to your to-do list. It is time for you to take time for yourself and be with people who are going to inspire you and bring you to the next level. Ladies, you can have it all. And in moments of adversity, I always remember that balcony. But even more so, I remember what Joel Osteen said. Whether you're religious or not, the higher you get to the top, the steeper the climb. The adversity is going to feel more painful, but when you overcome it, you are going to take that biggest step closer to your goals. And don't forget, ladies, when you overcome that adversity, which I know you will do, take a minute and celebrate the heck out of the fact that you overcame it. You all have it in you. There is nothing too tough for a woman wearing steel heels. You've got this. And if you don't, call us. I am so happy to have you as part of our message today and to have you join me. And I hope that somehow I've inspired you to move forward and push forward and overcome that adversity and take what you want out of life. You deserve it, and you're going to get it. So here's to having it all, ladies. Put on those steel heels and just stomp that adversity to pieces. You got this. Have a great day. Here is to your success. I am so happy to be with you, and I look forward so much to meeting with you and talking to you again. For more information about Colleen Ferrary and any of her businesses, please visit ColleenFerrary.com. And our parent company is Small Business USA, but it's smallbusinessus.com on the website. Enjoy, everyone. Have a fabulous day, and go take it all, ladies. You've got this.